Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the donate listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We've got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Also take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with a wonderful actress from Toronto, known for the Maniac Cop series, and she's also been in I, the Jury, and she's also been in Airplane 2, All the Marbles with Peter Falk, and other movies. She's also an award-winning lyricist, and we'll tell you what she's done as well, too, and she's been in a number of movies, and she also, once upon a time, almost got into the police force, and she tells why going from the police force over to the movies was the right choice. You'll hear some arresting thoughts on this one. Recently making a comeback and talking about a couple other films. So live, ladies and gentlemen, from beautiful sunny California, here she is, the very talented Laurene Landon. Laurene, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Goodbye. Hi. Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Anytime. So you're born and raised in Toronto. You're known for the Maniac Cop series. You've been in I, the Jury, and you've also been in Airplane, All the Marbles, and other movies. You're also an award-winning lyricist, involving Los Angeles, and you also made a comeback in 2005 with a couple of movies. And before we get to all that, tell us how you got started.
Well, I was going to UCLA at the time. Cal State LA. I lied. I was going to Cal State LA, and I was studying police science because that's what I wanted to do, be a cop. I was going to Biscayne Academy at the time, and a modeling scout saw me on campus and said, you're so this and that, and you should be a model, blah, blah. And I said, no, I should not. And she gave me her card. And I gave her my phone number. She wanted my phone number because it was a woman, so I gave her my number. Anyway, I didn't call her. She called me and kept pursuing it. In the meantime, I was going to Biscayne Academy to become a sheriff's deputy. But when it came to shooting the clay pigeons, when we were, in the training, I couldn't even shoot the clay pigeons. And I thought to myself, if I can't shoot a damn clay pigeon, how the hell am I going to really, point a gun at a live human being? I could not do it. I went to the academy for 18 weeks, and they were furious that I quit. Absolutely furious. But I realized I couldn't do it. So I got a call to go up to Las Vegas for the Miss Black Velvet pageant. Remember the Miss Black Velvet? They had billboards all over the city. Mm-hmm. And so they narrowed it down from, I think, 5,000 girls to 2 of us. And I didn't get it. It was another girl got it, and she deserved to get it. She was really beautiful. And, they were looking for a certain type. And I was type A and she was type A and I was a typo. No, I'm joking. So while I was up there, I met a casting director named Jackie Baskow, who said, you know what, they're shooting a movie down in Los Angeles called All the Marbles at MGM, and she says they're looking for lady wrestlers, and you look like you're very athletic, are you? And I said, yeah, I'm super athletic. I played sports all my life, basketball, baseball, tennis, and just all around kicking ass in school. So I said, okay. So I went to MGM and I met Robert Aldrich, who I didn't know who he was. I called him Robert Altman. I kept saying Mr. Altman. And his son Bill Aldrich said, no, my father's Robert Aldrich. Robert Altman is somebody else. And I said innocently, I was 18, I said, I don't know who Robert Aldrich is. I didn't do any research, It was before computers. I mean, not before computers, but I didn't know how to use computers back then. I still don't.
Well, you're on right now, though, so.
I know. But so anyway, they had seen 2,000 girls for the role, 2,000 girls wrestlers, and they decided, no, we don't like any of these girls that can wrestle, so we're going to try to train actors to wrestle. So I went to wrestling school. They had seen 2,000 girls, and Kathleen Turner was one of them. And pardon me, so was Peter Falk's wife, Shara Denise, and Peter Falk starred in the movie. So I didn't think I had a prayer, to be honest with you. But Vicki Frederick, the other girl, and myself would go and wrestle every single day, sometimes 7 days a week. And then the actor strike hit, so we just kept going and going and going. We weren't supposed to, but we just, we were hell-bent on getting, cementing those roles, and ultimately we got hired. So that's how I got into that movie, All the Marbles. That was kind of a breakout film for me. MGM film with Robert Aldrich, and there's so many wonderful actors in it.
That was amazing, too. What was it like working with Peter Falk?
Well, he would talk to himself all the time.
What was he still in Columbo mode or something? It's like, I need to ask one more thing.
Always had something he was holding, and he would talk like this. He'd say, Laurene, and he would be talking to an elevator or a ladder. And he would always talk to something. And we would always sit in the back of the airplane when we were filming the movie because he was too afraid to sit in the front. So was I. We always sat in the back of the airplane because planes don't back in the mountains, right? So we sat in the back of the airplane, and we became very, very close. Matter of fact, I got him a watch for Christmas, and I gave it to him when we were in the car being pulled by the camera truck, and because I had forgot to give it to him, completely forgot, and I had it in my purse. It was just a little tiny watch, and I got it for him, and I gave it to him, and I didn't know the sound was on, and Robert Aldrich was listening, the director, and the truck was, the camera car was just pulling us, and I gave Peter I gave him the watch. And he loved the watch. He couldn't believe the watch. So I said, and so he's just staring at me, and he puts it on, and then he says, I can't wear it in the scene. Wow, that's so nice. What a beautiful present, blah, blah. And I said, where's my Christmas present, you cheap son of a bitch?
Yeah, that's appropriate. The cheap detective. It just made me think of it.
Yeah, because that's how the character he played in Columbo, right? And so Robert Aldrich was screaming, laughing, and I could see through the glass because I was sitting in the back seat and with Peter, and I could see through the glass of the camera car that we were in. I could see Robert Aldrich punching his leg, and he's giving me a thumbs up, like that's so damn funny. And then when it was lunchtime, Robert Aldrich came up to me and he said, that's one of the effing funniest things I ever heard, Alf. He always called me Alf Landon, because there was somebody that ran for the Senate or named Alf Landon, I don't know, many years before. So he always called me Alf Landon, Alf. Except when I was in trouble, then he would call me Laurene. Whenever he called me Laurene, Robert Aldrich, I knew I was in trouble.
Uh-oh.
That happened a couple of times, by the way.
Oh, my goodness. And, of course, getting back to the whole wrestling thing as well, too, you wrestled in that movie as well, too. Were you ever approached by the WWE or WWF or any wrestling organization to do this full time?
Oh, yeah. Well, the show Glow was created because of my character in All the Marbles. Because I knew Matt Simber, who directed me in Hundra, the female Conan movie. He also directed me in Yellow Hair and the Fortress of Gold. And we shot both films in Spain, eh? Both films we shot in Almeria, Segovia, all over Spain, which was so beautiful. Anyway, he came up to me one time after he had had this idea brewing in his head. And he said, I've got this idea because of your character Molly and All the Marbles. He said, it's called Glow. And I said, what's Glow? And he said, now think of this. It's going to hurt you to think. That's how he talks, like a mobster. And he said, it's going to hurt you to think, but think. Glow, gorgeous.
Glow. He says it's going to hurt you. You got to speak with it. You mean you got to speak with your hands? You got to speak with your hands.
Yeah, so exactly. You're so funny. So I said, well, I have to ask my agent at ICM. And my agent at the time, who just passed away recently.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Not me. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. That's why I got out of the business for a long time, because that particular agent at ICM cost me my career for many, many years, because I would not go to bed with him, because I would not sleep with him. He basically ruined my career for many years. Now, I got out of the business to take care of my mom and dad, who were quite gravely ill with different things, cancer and heart disease and so forth. But at the same time, this particular agent was harassing me to go to bed with him. And one time he picked me up to go have dinner with him and his sister, because she was up from Palm Springs. And I had never gone out with him. I was with the agency ICM for 4 or 5 years. And after dinner, he got quite amorous, to say the least, in his car, and I felt very uncomfortable. And so he dropped me off at my apartment, and he tried to push his way in my apartment. And he was, I think, 5'2" or 5'4", maybe. And I said, no, you can't come in, Jack. His name was Jack. And he's looking up at me, and he says, I want to make love to you. I want to make love to you. And I said, no, you're not coming in my apartment. And I had a dog at the time named Sushi Bear, Alaza Opso Mutt, and my dog peed all over his leg. He peed all over Jack's leg. But Jack wasn't deterred, and he tried to come in, and he kept saying, I want to make love to you, I want to make love to you. And I said, no. And he said, why not? And I'll never forget this. I looked down, and I said, well, 2 reasons. 1, you're my agent, and 2, you're not my type. I should have never said that, but I was being authentic and being forthright, and he was furious. So I didn't hear from ICM for 5 or 6 weeks. I called. I kept getting the gatekeeper, Jackie. Her name was Jackie, who worked for him, and she wouldn't let me talk to him, and I kept saying, I'm not getting sent out. And then ultimately, I kept calling, and then he calls me finally out of the blue one day. And I said, I don't understand. You're not sending me out. And he says, well, you said 2 things. You said you're not my type, and I'm your agent. Remember? And I said, yes, I did say that. And he says, you better not go around town telling everybody or anybody what happened. And I said, nothing happened. And he says, well, And what he meant was that he tried to get in my apartment, is what he meant. So he went around telling people for years, because I found out later that he tried and unsuccessfully got in, tried to, have a relationship, have sex with me, essentially. And it turned out a lot of women after that, a lot of women came forward. And filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against him and ICM. And somebody called me, an attorney called me, a woman, years and years ago, and said, we have an innumerable amount of women calling. Do you want to get on the bandwagon? She didn't say bandwagon, but she said, do you want to file charges against this? And I didn't. But I said, no, I don't want to be involved.
It almost sounds like a civil or class action suit, and it sounds like this was before the Me Too movement, which really kicked in.
Oh, this was way, way, way before the Me Too movement. Way before the Me Too movement, you know. So I'm not afraid to say his name now because he passed away recently. That's why when you said, I'm sorry, I said, I'm not. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. So that's what happened there. So
that's totally understood. And of course, it's natural to say, like, someone passes away, you just say, sorry and everything else. It's out of courtesy. But we'll talk about your other two movies, Airplane 2, the sequel, and Hundra. But first, you listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Also on Stitcher, Overcast, Shoutbox, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with the wonderful actress Laurene Landon. She was born and raised in Toronto and known for the Maniac Cop series. We had just talked about her first big movie, as we had talked about All the Marbles featuring Peter Falk. And also, let's talk about Airplane 2, the sequel, which I thought was very funny. I mean, oh gosh, it's like there were so many stars in there. Of course, you had 100 and more. But first, Airplane 2, the sequel. Tell us about that. And who did you love working on that film?
My favorite person to work with on that movie, they were all celebrities, as you know. I think I was the only non-celebrity in that movie, to be honest with you. And I think the first one was much better, to be honest with you. But my favorite person and who I became very close with on that movie was Sonny Bono.
Sonny Bono, of all people. How do you like that?
we became best buddies, and he introduced me to a couple of friends of his, because I wasn't dating anybody. And he introduced me to some really, really lovely people. And he had a great sense of humor and was so much more intelligent than people gave him credit for. He just knew so much about politics, obviously, you saw later on down the road. But cinema as well, he was had the most scintillating telencephalon I think I've ever seen in my life. Sonny was brilliant. People just think he was a goofy comedian singer, but married to Cher, but he wasn't. He was luminous. Yeah.
That was amazing too, and it made me think the the Airplane movies, like with Leslie Nielsen, O.J. Simpson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and I seem to think of Leslie Nielsen. It's like at the time that he went from a serious acting role and kind of took this up just to give him something to do, and that kind of cemented his role as being like a goofy detective, which I think made him a lot better than being a serious detective back in the early days. I
agree. Concur with you 100%. Are you okay? Is that
What's that? Are you talking to your dogs over here? So you had mentioned about you had a couple of dogs that were with you as well too, Izzy and Moses, and of course if they happen to be there, you can introduce them to us.
No, they're back downstairs. I'm upstairs.
You're up.
I have a big house.
Oh, okay, got it. All right.
Monument. I live on a historical monument that was built in 1905, and it's haunted. It's unbelievable. And it was built by the Green brothers from the 1800s. Mm-hmm. And it's just an unbelievable house. I love this house. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the Green and Green brothers, but they built the Gamble House in Pasadena. You wouldn't know because you're not from California.
I've actually been to California back in '78. I've been in Long Beach, Los Angeles, went down to San Diego for a little bit, went to Tijuana and did some spending. It was safe back then, but then the best part was coming out from Tijuana to San Diego. Nobody cried, complained about being stuck heading back up for 2 hours. Everybody just had a big siesta. You buy, you sell, you listen to music, you walk up and say, hi, how you doing? You know, this is like 1978 you're talking here. So
you can't do that now.
No.
No. I went down there twice. When I was oddly enough on the dating game.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the dating game, and the trip was down to Zihuatanejo. And another time I went to be a judge in the Miss Mexico pageant, and it was so beautiful down there and so safe. But not anymore. I would never go down there now, especially in light of what you probably heard on the news to the Mormon family that happened last week by the drug cartel down there. Mm-hmm. No, I would not go to Mexico right now, even though it's beautiful.
And it was really sad, too. It's like the 9 members of the Mormon family, they actually came from Williston, North Dakota, not too far from where we were. It's like it may have been small news in other areas, but it was big news where we were at, and everybody was outraged over the whole thing. And of course, it makes you wonder, has this ever changed their mind about Trump building of the wall or whatsoever? Makes you wonder, is it really affecting it? I shook my head. It's like, what is this?
Yeah. I don't get into politics because I get myself in trouble. So all I'm going to say is keep America great.
And of course, make America great as well, too. And of course, you've also been in Hundra as well, too. And I, the jury, you can just tell us a little bit about that, too.
Yeah, well, Hundra was shot in Mexico, in Spain, Almeria, Spain, and Segovia. And Matt Simber, who I mentioned earlier, directed it, and John Goff wrote the script. And I basically play a female Conan in it. And I did 38 stunts in the film. And there was one stunt they didn't want me to do any of the stunts, but I did all the stunts myself because I was a stunt woman. And I still do stunts in films, and I love doing stunts because you can always tell when there's a double. You can always just tell. So one stunt they would not let me do was falling 90 feet from a tower. Did you see the movie?
I haven't had a chance to, but come to think of it, I'm going to check that out and let you know how it is. So
better see it. Yeah, Hundra. And they made a TV series about it at Universal, because Universal was going to buy the movie. But unfortunately, the producers shopped it around to different studios. And Bob Remy, who was the head of Universal at the time, was going to buy it because it was fantastic for what it was. I mean, it was unbelievable. The stunt people in Spain were unbelievable. And unfortunately, the producers shopped it around, and Bob Remy at Universal found out about it. So when the movie was turned down at Paramount and Fox, they took it back to Universal, and Universal said, no, you've been shopping it around. We found out. No. And they were offered, I think, $1.5 million or $2 million. And that was back in the 80s, eh? That was a long time ago, so that would have been a lot more money now. But they made a TV series out of it called Xena Warrior Princess. Maybe you've heard
I remember that, yes.
Yeah.
Lucy Lawless, yes.
Yeah, one of the directors who I met said this series was based on your character from Hundra. So that was quite something, so, yeah.
That was amazing, too. And, of course, we'll talk about Maniac Cop 1 and 2 as well, too, especially the one where it also highlighted your comeback. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with actress Laurene Landon, Toronto native, known for the Maniac Cop series as well, too. And also Maniac Cop, which came out in 1990, and you took a break for a little bit, as you had mentioned. And you came back in 2015 to be in Maniac Cop as well, too. And first, talk about the first Maniac Cop and then the Maniac Cop 2 in 2015. And between that, the time you were off as well, and what made you get him back in the movies.
Okay, well, as I aforementioned, I got out of the movies because of what happened with ICM. Also, I was taking care of my mom and my father. My father had a cardiac arrest and was dead 13 minutes. Up in Vancouver, so I went up to Canada, took care of my dad for a long time, and then I brought him down to California, and so I took care of him, and I would never have changed a thing. I wanted to spend time with my daddy. I got him legal here, and also then my mom got sick, and my sisters and I took care of our parents. But because my sisters were both working, one lives in Portland, Oregon, Charmaine, who's an amazing web designer. Real Art Studios is her company. She's just the real talent in the family. She does Rembrandt and the Mona Lisa. I don't know if you can see the Mona Lisa over here. Do you see the Mona Lisa?
That's a wonderful picture. That's a classic.
Charmaine did it. My sister did this.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Very nice. Yes. That's amazing. Wow.
That when she was a little girl. And she also does Rembrandts, and she, is commissioned to do work all the time for people all over the world. And her company, like I said, is realartstudios.com. Please look her up. Anybody out there that wants to hire her, because there's no greater artist I've ever met. And I'm not saying that because she's my sister. She did this when she was a kid. And she's done Blue Boy, and she can do anything. Pardon me. And she did these Serenity videos that all hospitals are selling right now. She's just, my sister not only is the most magnanimous human being you'd ever meet, she's the most talented in the family. I'm sorry I got off track, but I'm glad I did.
No, don't worry about it. I'm actually glad you talked about artwork and everything else. And did she have to go to art school for that? Or was she one of those type of people that can just look at something and just do it and don't worry about following instructions or blueprints or anything like that? Just look at it and just draw.
She didn't need any art school in the beginning. And when she was a child, she would do Blue Boy, and she would do Rembrandts, everything, by just looking at a photograph. And when she was in college, she took a few classes, and then when she got older, she took a few classes to go and expand her horizons. So she does the most amazing artwork. You can find her also on Instagram, Charmaine Art. Charmaine Art. Charmaine the artist, yeah. She's unbelievable. The real talent in my family is not me. It's my sister Charmaine.
And you're just as talented as well, too, being with so many movies and everything else. And, you talk about the upbringing you had with the artistic ability and acting and everything else. Who are some of your favorite, singers, actors, and TV shows and movies growing up?
Growing up, it was James Cagney. I love James Cagney. And also Marlon Brando, who I knew very, very well. I used to call him Pop all the time because I lived with his son Christian Brando for many years. Until May 16, 1990, when he got drunk and came to my house and picked up a gun that he kept at my house for safety. And he took the gun to go scare this guy that was beating up his sister. So he just went to threaten the guy, Dad Drolet. It was May 16, 1990. And he never came back that night to my house. And the next morning, Bill Cable, his best friend, called. And Bill Cable started screaming, my God, I'm so glad you answered the phone. I said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Bill? And he said, Christian is in jail for murder. And I thought it was you.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was you that he killed. So that's another reason I got out of the business, was because I was being pursued by all the tabloids, upwards of $150,000, $200,000 to talk about my relationship with Christian Brando. And I wouldn't do it because it was blood money. So it was horrible. There was another reason I got out of the industry. There were a lot of reasons, really. So.
And of course, getting back to some of your favorites as well, too. Who are some of your favorites that you grew up watching and being influenced by?
I would say Kate Hepburn, Marlon Brando for sure, On the Waterfront, Streetcar, and The Men. As a matter of fact, when I was growing up, I saw Marlon Brando in Streetcar, and I said to my dad at the time, when I was a child, young, at that time, I said, Daddy, I want to meet my Marlon Brando. And oddly enough, many years later, I met Christian Brando, and I was with Christian for many years, and we used to go up and see his dad, Marlon. And Marlon would always call my house just to listen to my outgoing messages, because I would leave the craziest outgoing messages. And Marlon would call my house for 2 years and just listen to my crazy outgoing messages. He said that was the highlight of his day. How tragic was that? That the highlight of his day was calling my house to hear my outgoing messages, because they were nuts. I didn't care, so.
Wow, that is something as well, too. And, of course, getting back to your Samurai Cop movies as well, too. And you had that first one in 1990. You also came back in 2015 with A Deadly Vengeance. And tell us about that. And it seems like it interconnected with your original career as a cop, which is something.
Yeah, I played detectives a couple of times in my career. And Benny Tajandra directed that movie. And Doug Tochioka. There were two directors, and it's an action movie, basically. It's all action about five mobster gangs after each other. The Yakuza, that was a Japanese one. There were all kinds of mob gangs, and they were all fighting against each other. And I was trying to bring down the lead, Russell DiPolito, who murdered my fiance, really, in the movie. But that was the backstory. So in the movie, I'm really after the head kingpin, which was Russell DiPolito. So there were 5 different gangster mobsters in the movie. But my vengeance was after Russell DiPolito, played by Nick Arvio, I think his name was Nick Albito, something like that. Wonderful actor. It was 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, but he's a great actor. And so we had a lot of fun on that movie, and got to do a lot of shooting. Got to use Glocks and all kinds of different guns, Taurus, the shotguns. But I liked making Maniac Cop. They're trying to remake it right now, but it's not going to happen. Even though it's all over the internet, it's happening. It's not going to happen.
Oh, really? Why is that? Because I was going to talk to you about that. You're known for the Maniac Cop series.
Because I know somebody very, very close to it, and it's not going to happen. Even though you're going to hear it's happening, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you've been in Maniac Cop series as well.
I can't say why, because I don't want this woman, very close friend of mine, who is very heavily involved with it, asked me not to divulge anything, except it's not going to happen.
That's fine, okay, because I was going to talk to you about the Maniac Cop.
They think it's going to happen. Bill Lustig and Nick Winding Refn, it's not going to happen. Unless there's something halfway, they meet halfway with some things that I cannot go into. I'm not even supposed to be saying this. I'll get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm always in trouble.
Trouble? It's like you'd be a great, sing alongside Lindsey Buckingham. You'd be great at it. Think I'm in trouble.
What a great song that was, huh? What a great song. Lindsay.
Oh my gosh! It's like, what are the songs that contain trouble as well too? You could be, holding aside or singing along.
Elvis Presley did a song. You're looking for trouble. That's what you're looking. I loved Elvis Presley. Did you like Elvis?
Oh, he was fantastic. My wife loves Elvis Presley. Yeah. We love the movies too. Viva Las Vegas, Blue Hawaii, and all those girls, whatever it is. It's like just something fun to watch. And he was just a natural at what he did. And of course, it was just a shame how he passed away and everything else. And there was just so much pressure. But he was just like one of the most accommodating people there was in the history of Hollywood. He's like, yeah, sure, yes, sir, no problem. Autograph? Sure, no problem. Take about 20 minutes. It's like, okay, here we go. No problem, hon. Here we go. No problem. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
There's only one Elvis. That's it. I mean, some of these artists today, I can't understand why they're famous, because you don't know who they are. I don't anyway, because I listen to talk radio all the time. I always listen to talk radio, KFI or KBC talk radio, because I just love talk radio and very seldom listen to music. But I don't understand when I have listened to music how some of these people became famous. I can't understand the lyrics, number one. Number two, they sing so fast you can't understand a word they're saying. Mm-hmm. And their voices are not like Elvis or Bono from U2 or Springsteen, where immediately you know who they are. And, they always did ballads. Elvis did ballads, Bono does ballads. And that's what I love. And, even country western music is great, because you can understand what they're saying. Mm-hmm. But, I'm not a millennial, and I'm not, one of these young kids that loves this kind of music, because I don't understand it. I just can't. I can't understand. Can't like something I don't understand. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I can see what you're saying too. Social media also makes part of it as well too. It seems like the attention spans get shorter and shorter and shorter as time goes on. Instead of watching a 30-minute newscast, now you get your news in like 10 seconds and then off you go into something else. Yeah. Take a selfie or tweet or something, and then it's like 10-second headline. It's like, back to another selfie or a tweet.
Well, that's what I think the attention span of the average person is. What, 5 seconds? 7. Yeah, 7. Seconds.
And it's gone down dramatically as well too in time. And I remember a while back the attention span was about maybe 20, 30 seconds, but then it has been reduced. Next thing you know, the attention span is going to be like less than a second.
Yeah, that's because
social media.
Social media, exactly. Social media. Mm-hmm. Because everybody has to be on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and Spotify, whatever that is. I don't even know what Spotify is. What's that?
Spotify is a music service where it's like artists get to, put on their music, people listen, download and everything. And by the way, the Mike Wagner Show is also on Spotify as well, too. It's not just music. It's talk, it's drama, it's you got series, comedy, and of course, you got shows like the Mike Wagner Show also on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and of course on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, and there's also, I mentioned, Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple as well. And I mean, just all over the place. Pick a platform and you can find any show on there, which is great, including mine. And I can say what I want about the Mike Wagner Show. And yes, it is my show, but of course you're the star of it. And you can talk about all that you want. So, you can pick any movie you want. We have, quite some time left. You've been in Nation's Fire, and also Knife to a Gunfight, 1313, Stand Up, and The Ambulance, Hollywood Story. I mean, you just have a list, and maybe you can just pick a few and what you really enjoyed and tell us about that.
I'll pick two for now, eh? So I have two films coming out that I'm very, very proud of. One is called Nation's Fire, and it was directed by Thomas Churchill, who's done a lot of horror movies, but this movie is about a woman seeking vengeance because her little boy is killed. Her little boy is murdered. And, no, I'm sorry. Her son is accused of murdering somebody. And it turns out her son was innocent the whole time. But I'm not going to say how or why, because it's just so unbelievable how they shot this movie and what Thomas Churchill did, who directed it and wrote it. And he's just such a talented guy. And I play Bruce Dern's wife in it, his alcoholic, unhinged, psychotic wife in flashbacks. And Tom Proctor plays my current husband in the film. But I had the opportunity to work with Bruce Dern, who said to me after filming in front of the entire cast and crew, he said, Laurene, I have worked with everybody in my life, the best of the best. But the only actress I have ever worked with in my life that is better than you would be my daughter. And I was stunned. And he hugged me very tight, not too tight, but I couldn't believe it, and everybody said I was unbelievable, and were crying or they were laughing because, I'm a tragic character. I would like to play irreverent lunatics in films because how boring to be normal. And the other movie I'd like to talk about is Agrimon's Gate. Agrimon's Gate is coming out in February, as well as Nation's Fire, and I play the lead in that, and I am committed to a mental hospital for 25 years, and that I think is probably the best acting I've ever done, along with that Nation's Fire, because they were independent films, and the beauty of independent films is the directors give you the latitude to improvise, and I always love to improvise, like I did in Sky, opposite Diane Kruger. And Diane Kruger said to me during filming, you're amazing, you're unbelievable, all this improv you do, you make me have to bring my game up. And we shot that in Las Vegas, and Norman Reedus stars in it with her. I'm not the star of it at all, but the Hollywood Reporter gave me a phenomenal review for that film as well, which can be seen on Netflix right now. And the Hollywood Reporter said something about my performance was so riveting or something like that, that you wish the entire movie was about Laurene Landon's character, Charlene. So, I love making independent films because you're allowed to improvise, and like I said, and the challenge with Agrimon's Gate, the horror film that I star in, was that I picked this film because I was not allowed to improvise. I was tied down in posy restraints because, like I said, 25 years prior, I was put in this mental hospital because my son murdered my husband, who was trying to kill me. So she has lost her mind. So I'm in a loony bin, in a crazy hospital, in posy restraints. And what happens, basically, I'll tell you in 2 sentences. In the beginning of a movie, a seance goes terribly, terribly wrong. And during the seance, this being, this demon comes to surface called Agrimon. And Agrimon, in real life, is the demon of fear. And what I loved about this movie was also that it touched on something that we all are faced with at some time or the other in our lives, and that is fear. And Harley Walleen directed it, and I love and adore this man because he tackles issues that most people won't touch, like such as human trafficking, sex slavery, in this case, fear, are the anxiety-provoking dilemma of fear. And I call Harley Wallin I call him the king of social commentary, because he always deals with issues that other directors won't touch. They like to play it safe. Anyway, so those are the two films I'm glad I got to talk about. And Sky, which is on Netflix, so that the Hollywood Reporter gave me a lovely review on, that can be seen on my website, LaureneLandon.biz, or anywhere on the internet. The Hollywood Reporter reviews Sky. So that's what I go back again to films that are not mainstream, but they're independent films where the directors say, what can you bring to the table? And I always try to build a skeleton from just the words. So I try to bring a character to life, and I'm grateful, very, very grateful that the directors give me the latitude to say, I'd like to do this, play this, I'd like to do this, I have this idea or that idea. And no one has ever, up to this point, said, no, you are not going to do that. Let's try it let's try it. And I'm blessed that they've kept it on film.
That is amazing, and we're looking forward to all that. And we have a few minutes here, and Laurene, like to have you back on again soon. You've been fantastic. What do you consider the most memorable moment in your career?
This one with you.
Number 2 or 1A?
Okay, yeah, I like that 1A. That is so funny. The most memorable in my career was probably auditioning with Betty Davis in her life. Wow. Yeah, I got to audition with Betty Davis in a movie that my dear, dear, dear beloved best friend Larry Cohen, who passed away, March 23rd of this year. I have been decimated emotionally ever since his death, but he directed and wrote a movie starring Betty Davis called The Wicked Stepmother, and he gave me the opportunity to read with Betty Davis, and I think that was probably the highlight of my film career. My film career was being able to audition with this iconoclastic legend. And she said, when I left to Larry, she said, that girl was not bad. That girl has a future. She's fantastic. Wow. And there was no scene with her, if you will. There was nothing for me in the movie. I played a Vanna White character in the movie, and got a great review from Roger Ebert for it.
Yes, Ebert and Siskel, Chicago. That's right.
Right. And he gave me a phenomenal review for that, and for Hundra, by the way. God bless him. Nice. But I got to audition. I got to read with Betty Davis, and when you say what was the highlight of my film career, I would say that was probably it, because I was stunned that I was even in the same room with her, let alone that I got to read with her. And at the time, she couldn't read because her teeth kept falling out.
Oh, my.
And that's why she quit the film. Ultimately, she quit The Wicked Stepmother and had to go back to New York and have denture work done or something. She told people the antithesis was true at the time, that she didn't like the director, which was Larry Cohen, yet they were lovebirds. They were out together every minute of the day on the movie. And the movie got mixed reviews, but it was talked a lot about. She was in King Cohen, which is a documentary that I am also in, about the life and times of Larry Cohen. And we were in the process of doing King Cohen Strikes Back, but Larry, unfortunately, so sadly passed away.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Me too. I am too.
And of course, we'll talk more about those as well, too, next time we get together. And who do you consider biggest influences in your career?
Wow, that's profound. Influences as far as...
in your movie career, or it could be like, family or even police work or anything like that? Biggest influence or influences?
Probably my father. My father, because when we were kids, we used to watch old movies together, eh? Mm-hmm. And my father loved watching James Cagney, and he loved watching Marlon Brando, and my daddy loved watching Wuthering Heights. I would have never known about these movies, and I used to go through when we were kids. I'd go through the TV guide, and I would say to my father, I'd say, "Daddy, did you ever see Wuthering Heights?" And he'd say, "Oh yeah, Merle Oberon and Laurence Olivier," and he was never wrong. And I'd say, "What year?" Because the year was always in the TV guide, eh? Mm-hmm. My daddy always knew what year those movies were made.
That's unique.
And he loved Nelson Eddy and Jeanette MacDonald the most, and we saw all their movies. Maytime was his favorite. So I would have to say my father. Yeah, my father was the biggest influence. He is the one who got me interested in the film industry, and I used to wonder what it's like to be on the other side of that TV like I am now with you. Mm-hmm. What's it like? So
that is so amazing. I mean, it's just fantastic. Your dad's a big influence. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
To anybody up and coming, you mean?
Correct, yeah. Acting or TV or whatever. So what's the best advice you can give to anybody?
The quickest advice I could give extemporaneously would be, I surmise, would be, there's two things to make it in this industry. I have not made it. I never did make it, but I am a working actress. And that would be passion and perseverance. But of the two, the most important is perseverance, because I meet people all the time, everywhere I go, waiters, just people everywhere that want to get in the film industry, and they all say, "I'm an actor." And I always say, what are you doing about it? I have the passion. I'm an actor. And so I gently say, "What are you doing about it?" "What do you mean, what am I doing?" "I'm not doing anything. I'm an actor." I say, "Are you going to school?" "No." "Are you studying?" "No." "Are you reading any books on acting?" "No." "Do you know who Ivana Chubik is?" "No." "Have you read The Power of the Actor?" "No." "I don't have to. I'm an actor." So what I'm essentially trying to say, and I know I'm taking too long as usual, is...
No, you're good. I'd love to have you back on. We can go a little longer.
You can have all the passion in the world, but if you don't have the perseverance, and that's something I did not have, was the perseverance. You have to keep plugging away, going at it, going on auditions, and not giving up, and believing in yourself no matter how many doors slam in your face. Two more will open up if you have the perseverance. Forget about the passion. Everybody has passion. It's the perseverance that is what you need to get to the next level. That's what I firmly believe, and a faith in God. I'm a firm believer in Christ, in Jesus Christ. I know people say, "Oh, you don't say that," but you know what? Too bad. I believe in Jesus Christ and faith. Faith is the substance of things that are made. It's the evidence of things not yet seen. So
that is amazing. Great advice. And Laurene, just want to say a big thank you for your time. Looking forward to having you again soon in 2020. And just one more thing. Tell everybody about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can people check out your latest works?
On IMDb. Please go to IMDb. And you can see my latest films, Laurene, Laurene Landon. And you can follow me on Instagram, please. And all my latest stuff is on Instagram or Facebook too, but I don't go on there that often. I don't know. I don't do social media that much. I honestly don't. But I'm on Twitter, but I never hardly go on Twitter. But I'm kind of on Instagram here and there, kind of on Facebook here and there. But if you want to find me on Instagram, and I will respond to you if you follow me on Instagram. Facebook, I have 5,000 friends and 5,000 people that want to be friends or whatever you call it. And I don't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm too busy with my dogs and cats. So And
and of course, we love to have your dogs and cats on as well, too, as special guests. Yeah. and that'd be perfect.
Perfectly great.
That's right. All right, Laurene, a big thank you for your time. Like to have you back on again soon. What's that?
Thank you for having me on the Mike Wagner Show. And you are the most prolific, the most incredibly gifted voiceover artist. So I don't know how people find you. Can you tell people how to find you as a voiceover talent? Because I've heard a lot of voiceover artists in my life, and nobody comes. You are unparalleled, to say the least. How can people find you?
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate it. MikeWagnerVoiceover.com. That's MikeWagnerVoiceover.com.
Unbelievably talented.
And of course, if you need me to do anything for you, just let me know.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Sounds great. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. And do me a favor, Laurene, and for all of us, keep us up to date.
I will. Thank you. God bless.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.